Friday Talking Points Ben Coley with a look at the day in X27 racing. Ben Coley looks ahead to a quality day in X27 racing at Sandown, where Pete the Feet would be a popular winner, while there and X27 in I on Sedgefield, too. Sandown and X27 Tingle Creek meeting begins on Friday in the feature race. The Ballymore Winter Novices and X27 hurdle is fascinating. In Darlac, we get a feeler for the value of Coolanly and X27 defeat of Pim at Cheltenham. Whatever Colin Tizzard and X27 horse does here, one suspects it and X27 strong form and the runner-up in particular ought to be a horse to keep on side for the rest of the season. Then there and X27 Truckin Away, whose defeat of smart bumper performer Acey Milan when the pair made their respective hurdling debuts at Ffos Las marked him out as one to follow. The fact that the runner-up flopped at Plumpton on Monday doesn and X27 alter that perception. We have an unbeaten mare, trained by Alan King, who has won the race 4 times. We have a 17-length novice winner for columnist Warren Gertrex. We have a point winner for Evan Williams who looked good when making a winning hurdles debut. We have a rematch from Lingfield, where down the highway sluiced through the mud to beat Mercy Mercy Me. Thy Currency copyright star of Lanka boasts star quality. He looks exciting and there and number 39 just a lot to like about him and the way he travels. Thyi diaresis Sedilla aatmi diaresis Sedilla missed approach ready to return. I cooled and number 39 T have him in better shape to be honest. All that and more from @Gertrex Racing https://t.co/ev1crc96 and more, much more than this. We have my way. This 4-year-old, unlike all those mentioned, is still to win the race. Yet twice he and X27 has been beaten by subsequent Grade 1 winners and campaigned over hurdles and over fences for Francois Nicole including in Pattern Company. He achieved a level of form which suggests he might go on to take a higher rank now in the care of Paul Nichols. That much was hinted at by Mark Howard in his Horses to Follow piece for us at the start of the National Hunt season, and he was not alone. It and X27 evidently an open secret that this gelding, who has had wind surgery and wears a tongue tie, is highly regarded. Indeed it and X27 significant that Mick Fitzgerald was also among those to mention my way before he was entered anywhere. Nichols, for his part, described the horse as really exciting back in October, adding, "He reminds me very much of Noland and Alfroth, not electric at home but a real galloper who jumps great. ETML'll stick to hurdling this season, starting low down, but ETMD like to think we could end up at Cheltenham come the spring." The McNeil family have had some smart horses over the last decade or so, chiefly Walkin and Griamty for Alan King and, more recently, The World's End for Tom George. Here, they combine with Chris Giles, owner of Top of the Game, among others, for one who could yet prove to be their best. Time will tell, but with soft ground and a step up to 2.5 miles both thought to be in his favor, my way could be the one to beat. As for Cheltenham, he and X27 51 in a place for the Ballymore and 41 for the Skybet Supreme. Given his starting point, the former has to be worth taking. Pete the Feet has become a national hunt hero, at least to the dyed-in-the-wool types, thanks to his exploits at Sandown, including in last year and X27 renewal of the Holiday Inn Shepperton Amateur Riders and X27 Handicap Chase. Then a 13-year-old, Pete the Feet defied not only his age but his starting price and big way to win splendidly, according to the Racing Post in running comments. It and X27 impossible to disagree with the assessment. That was off a mark of 127, but having turned 14 he came back to chase home the younger, classier Buys off 130 in January before bringing the house down on the eve of the Cheltenham Festival, defying another small rise in the weights to make it 3 wins and 2 seconds from 9 starts in Esher. He and X27 followed the same path this time, namely running well enough to a point over course and distance a month ago, and the handicapper has generously dropped him 2 pounds. Yes, he and X27 run once since winning in the spring and is now below that mark. The assessor must surely be a patron of age concern. Eventually, those 4 legs in that brave heart will no longer be enough for Pete the Feed to win races, but I Coolanly and X27 say for certain that the day has come just yet. And, while Friday and X27 race is not restricted to veterans, to my eye the biggest dangers to the top weight are aged 10, 11 and 12. For the purpose of the line, we and X27 ignored the 5-year-old lurking at the bottom of the weights. Ground 1 and X27 be right. Anyway, maybe he could. Writing 24 hours in advance of the race, it and X27 nigh on impossible to know what to expect from the Cheltenham Festival winner who lines up as Sedgefield in the Happy Christmas from Paxton's handicap hurdle, whose top weight is rated 120. Call the Cops won a Pertim's final once upon a time, defying a mark of 138 in so doing, before a head second at Aintree saw him scale the dizzy heights of 153. You and X27 have been forgiven for thinking Nicky Henderson and X27 horse might even end up a stairs and X27 hurdle candidate. Then things went wrong, and when he refused to race having been backed into favoritism for a low-key chase at Ffos Las, enough was enough. Off he went to Ben Haslam and X27 where the rogue Mr. Mole had also just arrived. What a pair to be handed for Christmas. Mr. Mole would prove beyond help and perhaps that and X27 be the case with Call the Cops, too, but it and X27 at least interesting that he and X27 back from more than a year off here, having been fairly well supported when last in action, back in September 2017. Now, he and X27 running over 2 miles rather than the trips over which he thrived before, so perhaps today is not the day. He and X27 nevertheless worth watching, first for market support and then, whether that has arrived or not, for some kind of spark. Haslam has an ex-Gordon Elliott inmate running on the same card, having also recently inherited a couple from Willie Mullins. It and X27 a difficult task to coax any of them to the potential they and X27 shown either on paper or the track, but if it and X27 to happen anywhere then Sedgefield, where the trainer operates at 14% and to a level stakes profit, is probably the place.